With the Oklahoma Sooners having to take punches and blows on the recruiting trail because it really just has not been good. And coming out of some of these official visit weekends as an Oklahoma fan, you felt great about where maybe the position of this recruiting class here in the 2026 cycle was heading. But now you're not starting to feel as confident. Now you're starting to get a little worried because the Oklahoma Sooners feel like they keep losing in a lot of battles that they quite frankly shouldn't be losing. And listen, it's just there's a lot going on for Oklahoma. I think today we got to talk about it. We got to break it all down and have a real discussion because I understand a lot of people here are frustrated about the state of the program and where we are at on the recruiting trail. But at the end of the day, I still think Oklahoma is fine. I think fans have to rationalize what is going on in the landscape of college football. And Oklahoma still has multiple big time targets still on the board. And we're going to kind of dive into those today because Oklahoma can still put together a pretty damn good class. Before we dive into it, though, as always, join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and hit the subscribe button. If you guys remember a couple weeks ago, I told you a top 5 class was still on the table. That might be starting to dwindle a little bit more as we start to see more and more recruits not pick Oklahoma. But at the end of the day, it's not over. Just because a recruit commits somewhere else doesn't mean the Sooners can't try to continue to pursue them or flip them. But the Oklahoma Sooners still have several big time targets on their board. And that's where I kind of want to start before we dive into like what's next for the Oklahoma Sooners after losing a guy to Illinois or losing a wide receiver to Baylor. It's just not good after Eberhardt. I really started to see a lot of doomers everywhere. But the Oklahoma Sooners are still on a couple big targets. Davian Gross is one of them. Now, obviously, there was a lot of smoke over the past couple of days leading into think Davian Gross was going to end up committing to the University of Oklahoma sooner rather than later. And although Oklahoma fans are still waiting for Davian Gross's commitment, this is one where it's interesting to watch, interesting to see what's going to happen. Baylor is really trying to make a push here, right? At the end of the day, Baylor wants to put together an elite class. And we all know how Baylor's doing it. It's through money. Oklahoma is being negatively recruited at every single aspect and level of this program. And Baylor's making sure that Davian Gross understands that and hears it before he actually makes a decision. The Oklahoma Sooners, though, are still in a really good spot. I don't think Oklahoma fans should worry too much at the current moment about Davian Gross. The Oklahoma Sooners still need another quarterback, especially or wide receiver, especially understanding that Daniel Odom is possibly taking a visit to Colorado during the regular season. So you definitely want to get a guy like Davian Gross committed in your class and on board and get him locked up. Now, just because he gets committed doesn't mean he'll stay. You definitely have to keep him committed through the season, which is going to be easier said than done. Everybody on this team has got to be a flip target for somebody. And with the state of the program and how people are negatively recruiting Oklahoma, whether it's Brent Venables on the hot seat, Oklahoma not paying what other schools are paying for recruits, or purely what you've seen with Oklahoma moving on from recruits really late into the cycle or moving on after they've been committed a while. All of that's being used against Oklahoma. None of it can be used in Oklahoma's favor. But the Oklahoma Sooners will get through it. All you have to do is win football games, and you'll get through this time. So, obviously, Davian Gross still on the board. Another target that a lot of people really aren't talking about. I haven't really heard a ton of people mention him. Joel Wyatt, the 6'4", 195-pound athlete out of Bell Buckle, Tennessee, out of the Webb School, the 47th overall ranked player in the 247 composite rankings, the 5th overall athlete in this class. Joel Wyatt would be a fantastic prospect, can play wide receiver or cornerback. I believe Oklahoma was recruiting him at corner, but could definitely be a guy where I could see Oklahoma letting him take snaps at both sides of the ball and figure out where he's going to go once he gets on campus. I don't know if they're going to let him be like a dual threat guy like Travis Hunter, but this is a guy that can kind of do it all for you. Elite at both sides, can play wide receiver at a high level, cornerback at a high level. And so you're putting Javelin and Emmett Jones on that recruitment. I'm not really worried there, but originally was Tennessee, Vanderbilt. A lot of schools are trying to get involved with him late. North Carolina is trying to make that late surge with Bill Belichick. So Keep your eyes on Joel Wyatt. That's one that's probably going to go into the season at this point. And if Oklahoma starts winning, maybe they could get him to shut it down in their favor. I look at a guy like Salisi Moa, who is another guy we haven't really talked about in a long time. It felt like Oklahoma maybe moved on from him, or maybe Oklahoma just fell out of favor. But I would imagine Oklahoma might be circling back around with him. I would be shocked if they didn't, just to kind of test the waters to see where it was at. But Salisi Moa is definitely somebody that, hey, if you're wanting to look at potential guys Oklahoma could try to get back in with or try to land in this class, that's a guy that I would circle and see, hey, does Oklahoma have a chance still? Go to the defensive side of the ball. Teron Richardson, Elijah Golden, they have not made decisions yet. Those are two defensive line targets that Oklahoma is going after. Elijah Golden, man, it's the intel's every which way, right? You have a lot of people tell you, hey, Notre Dame, they're getting the commitment. Hey, but you got some people telling you Oklahoma still has a shot. They're not out of it. I still want to believe it's Notre Dame at this point in time. I really don't think Oklahoma has done enough there, but maybe Oklahoma decides to write the checkbook for a guy like Elijah Golden and try to just get some momentum on the recruiting trail. Sometimes that's all you need, right? Sometimes all these other kids need to see is another elite kid go pick your school, and sometimes it just creates a domino effect. But Teron Richardson would be another fantastic win if Oklahoma could pick him up. Remember, we've talked about him quite a bit out of Hopewell, Virginia. If you're Oklahoma, your biggest two targets that you're fighting, Virginia Tech, Penn State, Syracuse, I think is up there as well. But Oklahoma, listen, I think they've put themselves in a fantastic position to go out there and try to land T-Ron's commitment. The question is, does the kid want to venture that far away from home? Additionally, you look up and down the board, right? I was looking at wide receivers where Oklahoma could potentially try to maybe get in on guys they maybe haven't offered yet that other schools are pursuing. I looked at a guy like Chase Campbell out of Friendship High School in Wolfworth, Texas. I might be saying that wrong. He's the 156th overall player at 6'1", 180 pounds. He fits the build, fits the mold of kind of what Jim Nagy and the staff's looking for. Same thing for Samorian Wingo at 6'2", 180 pounds. Those are two guys at wide receiver that if you're just looking for guys to watch for, I put them on my list to watch to see if Oklahoma will go out there and offer them. You guys should watch them too. They meet the build of intangibles of what Jim Nagy and the staff's looking for. I think they could go out there and be wideout threats for you. So, yeah, Oklahoma needs wide receivers. Obviously, they're going to continue to try to flip Jordan Clay and Jaden Pettit going into the season, but I would imagine they're going to go out there and try to make new offers as well. And it's going to be interesting to see if Oklahoma tries to circle back on some of these Oklahoma kids that they moved on from or straight up didn't offer, or if Oklahoma just decides to shift to a strategy where, hey, we're going to take another smaller class and kind of go take some talent out of the transfer portal. I think all of that's on the table. Definitely things are really interesting right now. Oklahoma just needs to get to the season and they need to start winning. Winning will cure everything here. And as an Oklahoma fan that loves recruiting, you just got to be patient. Got to be patient. Let Jim Nagy, let Brent Venables cook, and all things will work out in due time. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what your thoughts are. We'll see y'all next time.